Alrighty guys, let's quickly go over the best Charge Blade builds for beginners. This is the build right here, you can see on the left if you want to copy it, which I highly recommend you do. All this is farmable at HR 14. Let's start off with the skills. Focus level 3, all Charge Blade players will be using Focus level 3. This is a mandatory, you must have it. The only reason why you wouldn't is because you're at low rank and they don't have gear that has Focus level 3 on it. That's the only reason why you would not have it. Other than that, you have to use Focus 3. You have to. It just makes getting phials so much faster. If you get the phials faster, you get SADs faster. SADs make the monster die quicker, meaning you spend less time running around chasing the monster and so forth, fighting it. He'll just die and you go on your merry way. Artillery 3, this is just 30% increase on your phial damage. That's a big portion, 30% per phial. And your SADs take up like, 70 to 90% depending how clean you play of your damage. So it's very nice to have this. Next skill is health boost. Health boost is going to give you that life so you don't get one-shotted, or he hits you, you fall down, you got a little bit of health left, you get up, take your potions and stuff, and go on your merry way. Poison attack, that's a byproduct of the Rathian Helm to get the health boost too. It's just there to play with, have the health to play with. You don't really need it if you play cleanly. You can guard point everything, then you don't really need health boosts, and then you'll get rid of this. But it's just a byproduct, not a big deal. It's there. Capacity boost, this gives you one more phial, because default you have 5, one more is 6, so that's 20%. 20 plus the artillery, that's 50% increase in damage for your SADs. So that's a big difference. You'll definitely need those. And unfortunately, the Dodogama Greaves is like the only reasonable way of attaining this kind of build here. And lastly, guard. So when using Charge Blade, your main way of dealing damage is fighting the monster, and then he tries to hit you, you guard point, and then you go right into the discharge. That's the main portion of your damage. And if you don't have guard, once you start fighting elder dragons, you guard and the monster hits you, it's just going to send you sliding away. Not on your back, but like on all fours, and then you won't be able to retaliate with that SAD because it was just too much force to push you away. With guard, it reduces the force, making you capable of pretty much guard pointing every move in the game. We're talking about like Nergigante, dive bombs, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it for this video. You can stay around and I'll talk about what to do afterwards, but for just knowing what you want to grab and what you want to get for now, this is really good and it's going to last you a long time. Alright, so now if you're still here, then we're going into why this is better than everything else. So the Elemental Charge Blades might look cooler, they might feel better, the monster's weak to fire, so why not use a Charge Blade that has fire damage? Because Elemental Charge Blades suck. That's the honest reality of it. It's sad, I wish it wasn't, but they suck. The only time they're good is with the Cure Charge Blades, which are not craftable. These are all RNG based. You have to farm Cold Taroth to get. And these are the only ones that are really good. But the only one I think that stands out significantly, like you must have it, is the Cure Ice. Now this Charge Blade is ridiculously broken. 480 at base for element versus everything else is at 300, and this is top tier, so anything you craft is less than 300 or around 300. Cure Ice is just so high, and the damage is like 223 per phial, so this is just, it beats every other Charge Blade against any monster weak to ice. Nothing comes close in the Charge Blade realm. Second place would be Diablos and all the other Cure element. So the Cure elements will do more damage, but because of the Diablo's ability to KO, because it's an impact phial, it can KO a monster, giving you more uptime. Because if I hit you and then you fall down, I could do all kinds of things. Like Nergigante falls over, you can start beating on him some more and SAD him again. Where the elementals, you only have the ability to trip them, which is when you break apart, like you break their arm, they'll fall over, and then you could beat on them. The Diablos, on the other hand, can break the arm or whatever, and they'll fall, and it also has KO, where if you hit the head a certain amount of times, it's going to knock them out. It's the same damage as hammer, or bows, coconuts. So that's why Diablos is still going neck to neck against the other Cure weapons. They just don't dish out enough damage. The Diablos can deal 120 no matter where the phials hit, and then the actual elements depend on hit zone values. So you might get somewhere from 90 to 170 depending on where the phials hit. Like if it's a head weakness to like really high, it's going to get 170. If it's on the medium end, it's 115, and if it's really bad, it's just like 90. So that's why it's really going neck to neck with the Diablos. But I think Diablos is better because then it's easy to get, and it works on every monster. It doesn't really matter. And then we have where the Defender sits. The Defender is right after Diablos because the damage is lower, and we can show you that because right now I have the Defender 810 versus 828, and you see I have the attack augment on the Defender. I think regular is like 795 or something like that, and it's still losing to the Diablos, but that's not the big difference. That little 18 damage isn't the difference. The difference is when you get this decoration. This is why I say this is going to change. This build changes once you get this decoration. You can now look at the damage, 965. So that's a real big difference, and that's why the Diablos beats the Defender. On paper and like under like calculators that you input the damages and stuff, Defender would win, but because that's perfect play. That's if you hit a weak spot and get criticals, and you're doing the most damage with your white sharpness and affinity. That's the only time you can beat the Diablos Charge Blade. But if you're a Charge Blade user, you don't care about those slashes. You could hit the tip of his toe or his back leg where it's not even a weak spot. You just want to charge your phials and hit him with the SADs, and that's where your damage comes from. So maybe if you're a speedrunner and you get perfect play, you hit every slash on the head, and then SADs from the tip of the nose straight down the spine, yeah, you're going to beat the Diablos. But if you're one of those guys, then you shouldn't be watching this video. So then that's where the Defender sits, and then everything under Defender is, all the other elemental Charge Blades, which don't even come close, and it's such a burden to farm them and stuff when they're so terrible. Like before Defender, it was just get Diablos Charge Blade and you're good. It didn't matter because even without Elementless, it's just as strong as the Defender. But with Elementless, as you see, that's a big spike, big difference in damage. That it's just not a significant difference that you would actually want to get. So that's what it is basically about for Charge Blade. Leave your comments down below. If I missed anything, I'll put it in the description. If you see I missed anything, definitely put a comment down there. If you're unsure, you have not tested it, please don't leave a comment saying that this is better or that's better. You should state why and what you've done to test it, because if you haven't tested it and you're just talking about it, you're just basically talking out your ass. But anyway, have a good time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely add me on Discord or something, and let's hunt together sometime or so.